Welcome to the channel. My name is Kyle, and I am a cyclist trying to get back into cycling, and it's a little bit different for me. I'm also trying to lose some weight as part of that whole journey, but it's different for me because I've had open heart surgery not once but twice, and lots of complications along with that, trying to navigate the cycling thing. Before I get into it, the good news is I'm good. Everything is good. I'm cleared for all this sort of stuff. I'm feeling good. But I want to talk about the struggles about getting into cycling with everything that I'm dealing with. So, this is a human heart, not a real human heart, obviously, but it's a replica of one. And I want to talk a little bit about what I've had done so far. So, when I was 4 years old, I was born, I had open heart surgery. I was born with something called ventricular septal defect. So I'm going to take the front part of this off so you can see on the inside a little bit. So these down here are the ventricles, and inside the ventricles is this wall called the septum. And that is where I had my hole, is there. So what was happening was the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood were kind of getting mixed together, and it wasn't getting a good, source of blood throughout the rest of my body. So at 4 years old, they went inside and they fixed that hole inside of my ventricles. The other thing that they did was they worked on my aortic valve. So this structure right here, this is the aorta. And inside of here, you'll see there's this little white piece. So this is not the one I'm talking about, but on the inside. Let me see if I can get something to point with. It's not my big stupid finger. So inside there, this piece right there. Okay, that is the aortic valve. So the aortic valve is what's called. It's easier to see what it looks like. That's what the aortic valve looks like. It's got three little flaps, and those three little flaps are open and close as the blood gets pushed out. One of my flaps was quite long and kind of weird looking, and it was preventing the aortic valve from closing properly. So while they were in there working on the ventricles, they went in and they repaired that aortic valve. Fast forward 40 years, and because they were messing around with a whole bunch of stuff, I had calcification form on the aortic valve inside of there. And that caused an aneurysm here on the aorta. So basically what was happening was because the aortic valve was not as flexible as it was causing like a jet stream of blood to hit the aorta, which caused it to balloon and become in a regular shape. And by doing that, it was actually thinning out the wall of my aorta. So last year, around this time, around the July-August timeframe, I had a CT scan, and they determined that the leak of my aorta was so bad, it was going to require some sort of work. They were actually not as concerned with the aneurysm at that point, although it was getting pretty close. They said, you need open heart surgery. So December 8th of this past year, of 2025, I had open heart surgery. And I also had a bypass. I don't know which one of the valves here, I'm sorry, which one of the vessels that they had to, or arteries rather, had to be replaced, but I had a bypass as well. So they went inside, and they got to the aortic valve, determined beforehand that it was going to need to be replaced. So I went with a mechanical valve. Because I'm so young, I don't want to go through another open heart surgery. The biological valves tend to last about 12 years. So went with a mechanical valve. And while they were in there, he did not like the way the aorta looked. So instead of grafting the valve to the aorta, they went and replaced the entire aorta as well. I told you the first story because inside of this structure, this septum here, it's not really inside, but it's near the area where I had my patch. There is, and I can't remember the name of what it's called. I probably should have looked it up, but my brain is fuzzy and doesn't always work. So there is a little receptor. So inside your heart, so there are 4 chambers of your heart. There's the atria, the left and right atria, the left and right ventricle. So there are 4 chambers. So the atrium are up here at the top here, and the ventricles are down here at the bottom. So the atria are what pump first, and the ventricles pump second. And typically what happens is when the atria pump, an electrical signal gets passed down to the ventricles through a little receptor that's down here near where I had my patch. It turns out when they went in and did the actual surgery to repair my aortic valve, something happened here and it severed the connection between the atria and the ventricles, which required me to have a pacemaker put in. And the pacemaker sits right here. I can feel it's right there. And it basically tells my heart when to beat. So there are lots of ways that it does this and senses your movement and how to raise your heart rate. Currently, the way I'm set up right now is I have what's called an accelerometer sense, or I don't know what it's called, but the accelerometer is what is actually controlling my heart rate. So the more my upper body moves, the higher my heart rate gets. Which when you're doing things like walking, jogging, going upstairs, I've been doing rowing exercises, because all of this is moving around, my heart rate's getting up there and it's okay. The problem is when you sit on a bike, guess what doesn't move? Your upper body. Especially if you have a good fit on the bike, your upper body doesn't really move unless you really get out of the saddle and really crank on it. So for the most part of my rides, my heart rate doesn't increase. In fact, I'm doing rides right now where my average heart rate, it's about 80 beats a minute for a 30-minute ride, all the way through. Not great. So that's my struggle. During cardiac rehab, they had me on a recumbent bike. The entire time on the recumbent bike, my heart rate sat at 60 beats a minute, trying to churn through 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it was, of recumbent bike with my heart rate. Like my legs were gassed at about 2 minutes. Treadmill, fine. Walking around, fine. Rowing machine, fine. Sitting on a bike, just couldn't do it. So I've been trying to get back into cycling, and it's super hard because of it. So I want to talk a little bit about my journey, and that's what you're going to see is what I'm going through, how I'm going to attempt to correct things and see if I can actually cycle again. So if that seems interesting to you, stick around. We got more videos coming, and it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to be trying to lose some weight while doing all this. And I hope you stick around because it's going to be quite a journey. And if you've gone through open heart surgery and you have questions because you're about to face it, happy to answer any question that I can answer for you. I'd be very happy to do so. So thanks so much for tuning in. There'll be more videos coming out, and we'll see you soon. See ya.